All right, everybody. Thanks for joining this video here, talking about JiraCon22. I'm so excited for everybody who's going to be joining us in late September. If you've not bought your tickets yet, go to JiraCon.Trundl.com to go get those. We'll give you a little link after this video to help you out. But I did want to share with all of you our keynote speaker, Mark Cruth from Atlassian. So excited to be talking with him. When I was reaching out to Atlassian, amongst many other people, to be speakers at JiraCon22, Mark reached back and suggested a great topic for a keynote talk. And so I'm just excited to be talking with him here. Welcome, Mark.
Patrick, thanks so much for having me, dude. I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome. So, Mark, for folks who are going on LinkedIn and checking you out, your title says Modern Work Expert and Evangelist. Now, I'm going to assume not many people at Atlassian have that title. So tell us just briefly about how maybe you acquired that title at Atlassian, but just what led up to that in your career to reach that wonderful moniker.
Well, what's even more funny is if you look at my career in LinkedIn, you'll actually notice the title right before this was Team Doctor, which is even more obscure. So, I'm falling down that path. So, really modern work evangelist, modern work expert, it was something where gave me an opportunity to go out there and start talking a little bit about, new ways of working. I've always been passionate about this. I've spent my career in the agility field. I've spent my career working with Atlassian products, helping teams find new ways of working with them. And for us at Atlassian, we're really trying to, spread that news. Like, what are some of the cool things teams are doing? And that's where conferences like JiraCon are going to be a great avenue to hear these stories from people. And so for me, as a modern work expert, I'm going out there and learning, but I'm also sharing some of the neat stuff we're doing here at Atlassian. And I'll be honest, I just couldn't have as neat of a title as Don Price as a work futurist. So we went with modern work evangelist, which I was
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. So just revealing it for the first time here, your keynote session is titled Resilience and Reinvention in a Radically Changing World. Now, anybody who peeks at the news feels like things are radically changing, and everybody may have a different interpretation of that. Atlassian obviously does, as an ongoing business, obviously, in the team collaboration space, but it's geopolitical. It's many potentially scary things, and I imagine that the origin of your talk kind of addresses some of those things. Without sharing the secret sauce and hoping folks come to JiraCon22 to listen to you in the keynote speech, can you just talk about the origin of this this talk and just share a little bit about it?
Yeah, for me, I think what really kind of brought this out is I've been thinking about the last couple of years. I think we all have, as we've been thinking, it feels like we can't catch a break, one thing happens. I mean, everyone's got the little ornament from 2020, and then they got another ornament from 2022 and 2021 that were different kind of things happening. And it really got me thinking about it because I started hearing these stories of teams and people who they took it as that opportunity, not just to kind of sit there and be like, I'm just going to take it. And instead to actually look back and say, we've been given a golden opportunity to really think about how we work differently. And so I started thinking about this, and I'm like, teams around the world, not just in the last couple of years, but for many years have been faced with challenges that have caused them to really kind of introspect and think about what it is that we do and how do we help the world maybe in a different way. Maybe the technology has changed around us, and now we can't, I'm a Netflix, and sending videos to you via mail just isn't going to cut it anymore. Or maybe I'm a airplane manufacturer, and I need to think about the next best way to get people around the world when fuel's at super high prices. And so for us, I started thinking about this and started asking people around, be like, hey, do you know of any cool stories? Do you know of any neat teams that have done some neat things? And it's amazing what I found. So you're going to hear some stories in this from folks who have been in the manufacturing space and have dealt with a major crisis that was costing millions of dollars a day until they figured out how they reinvented. We're going to hear about from people like teachers. What did they go through all of a sudden when all of a sudden we said on March 13th, hey, you're going to have to keep your kids home for a few weeks, and that few weeks turned into 2 years. And we even have some stories about here in Atlassian, where some teams had to kind of change up what they did had to really find their identity. And that's where that resilience comes in. It goes into what's that outcome, what's that goal, and what are some of the kind of cool stories that came out of it. And through that, I've got some neat tricks and tips that we pulled from these. I want to share with the audience, to kind of share with them about, hey, if you're in a rut, if you're thinking about how do I change, I want to give you some ways to actually think about how do you kind of find your resilience and really reinvent yourself. So super excited for it.
Oh, that's great. I'm so excited. So if you're watching this, butts in seats, JiraCon22, September 29th, North
Be
America,
there.
September 30th for APAC. Get your tickets at JiraCon.Trundl.com. Mark, thank you so much.
Patrick, it's been a pleasure. Can't wait.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers, everyone.